Good afternoon, everybody. Today is day 2 of the 10-day Sculpt and Tone Challenge, and I'm thrilled to see so many ladies inside the Ballet Fitness Lifestyle Hub posting in there saying that they've already completed their workout for day 2 and how they're getting on. It's really, really great to see so many people committing and having already completed days 1 and day 2. So if you're that person, let us know inside the group how you're getting on. If you haven't yet signed up to the 10-day Sculpt and Tone Challenge, it's not too late. You can still sign up and catch up with those first 2 workouts. So it's not too late. But today, I wanted to talk a little bit more about time. I know this is a really big issue for most women who struggle to exercise. It's often the excuse is, I don't have time. And I call it an excuse, but it's a very real thing. Some people just literally cannot find the time in their day to squeeze in any exercise. And that leaves us feeling, really, really frustrated and guilty and hopeless and a failure and all the rest of it, because we see so many other women who seem to be able to do this. Whilst they seem to be able to create time and are consistent with their workouts, we're really struggling with it. We look at them and it looks effortless. It looks really easy, everything they're doing, and we're just floundering. We don't know what we're doing. We can't figure out how those women are managing to fit it all in despite having an equally busy life as us, and yet we're still not there. So today I wanted to share some answers with you to those questions. How do you make the time to exercise? I'm Sarah Aspinall and I'm the founder of Breaking Ballet, and we're running the challenge over the next 10 days. So if you haven't yet joined, please do, and have a listen to this workshop now. This workshop's part of the challenge, to see if you can relate to any of this, if any of it resonates. If you're watching now and you're one of those people that struggles to find the time to exercise, let us know in the comments. Give us a thumbs up and, that's me. Yeah, what do I do? It's a really, really common question. And if you're new to fitness, then, you might not be achieving the results that you want yet. Or if you're a very, very busy woman, and there are so many of us, you're just struggling to find the time and the motivation to get going. So today I'm going to help you discover what you can do specifically in relation to making time. I'm going to talk more about motivation tomorrow, but today is all about making the time. So if someone could just give me, hi Jackie, you're on your exercise bike right now. That's amazing. Well done, Jackie. I hope you're feeling better. I'm glad everyone can hear me and it's working. The chat box is working. If you're watching, let me know, drop something in the comments so I know I'm not on my own. I know Jackie's here. So it's really very simple what we're going to walk through today to help you find practical steps to make time to work out. But before we get going with that, I just wanted to just talk about this amount of time first. So if you're someone that thinks, in order to get fit, in order to improve my fitness, in order to start fine-tuning my body, I need to be working out for hours on end every week. I don't have hours on end every week, therefore there's just no point. Or I'll try and I'll manage that for a few weeks, and then, I'm not consistent. I've done that before, and it just hasn't worked. Hi Rachel, hi Abby, nice to have you here. What I want to suggest to you is that you don't need to be working out for hours on end. We don't all have the time to do that. I certainly don't. And yes, granted, I know you're thinking, but you teach lots of classes during the week. I do, but I'm not focusing on my body during those classes. I've got 15 women in front of me, and I'm demonstrating some, but I'm not doing all of it. And I'm correcting people and moving around the room and adapting certain moves for different people. Outside of that, I'm running another business and I'm trying to fit my workouts in. So I'm going to take you through exactly how I do it. I'm really busy. I have 2 children who are currently 9 and 7. So I totally get this. I totally get it. But this shift in mindset is really, really important to help you through this next process. You know, you may have tried it before, you may have joined a gym, you may have had a PT, personal trainer, you may have tried free online workouts before, but you just haven't been able to maintain it. You haven't got that consistency. So I want to show you how to do that, to save you the energy, to save you or eliminate the frustration completely so that you can move forwards. And the reason I want to share this with you is because I see this happen to so many women. I see the same pattern. And, you know, of course we all want to be fit and healthy. Of course we do. But I see a lot of women start working out before thinking about quite how they're going to maintain consistency. So putting the horse before the cart before the horse, cart before the horse. So, you know, trying to just go for it and exercise and then thinking, oh, but now I've not done any for a week because I didn't have enough time. So they didn't put any methods, any structure, they didn't have a strategy in place to make sure that once they started that fitness regime, they would be able to maintain some level of consistency. So they started to see results, so they held on to their motivation. And as I touched on, I completely get this. In a previous life, I was a corporate lawyer. I worked very long hours. Admittedly, I didn't have children at that point, but I was working really long hours, and I was getting up at one point because I've always, you know, done fitness throughout my life. I was a dancer previously. Then I needed to move, and I've spent a long period of time sat at a desk in an office, not really moving very much, and it got to a point where I had to find time. I was getting up at 5 a.m. to get the tube to my workplace. There was a gym opposite. I was going to the gym, which I hated, and then going to work. I didn't have time at lunchtime. I was too exhausted by the end of the day. It's the only way I could do it. I didn't enjoy it at all, but I did it because my body needed it. But I totally get, you know, how you're feeling if you are struggling to make the time. But once I got past this, you know, concept in my mind, if I have to do hours on end of working out, you know, when I came out of my corporate job and I had children, it got even harder because children are unpredictable and you don't get as much sleep and you're not quite in your right mind half the time. But once I discovered that I don't have to work out for hours on end, I don't need to be away from my children for, you know, an hour and a half, potentially, if you're travelling to a class, to do a class, and then travelling home again, you've not always got the childcare, you've not always got the time, you've not always got the energy. So once I figured out, actually, provided I do something every day and have consistency, I see results. So I'm not about this all or nothing approach, about, you know, I've either got to do 3 hours a week workouts or forget it, I'm just going to quit, there's no point. It's do something every day, no matter how small, because each of those steps will carry you forwards towards your results. So how do we do it? So everything that I'm about to share with you is absolutely how I did it for myself and how I advise my clients to do it, is how we do it in the Backstage membership as well. So you may have seen there is a worksheet that goes along with this workshop. If you haven't seen that yet, if you go inside the Ballet Fitness Lifestyle Hub, the group where we're running this challenge, in the Files tab in there, that's where you'll find this document, Making Time for Fitness, the worksheet. So go and have a look at that. I'm going to walk you through it now. But there are three aspects to making time. And note that I talk about making time, not finding time. 3 ways of really making time. The first one is planning. The second one is organisation. And the third one is prioritising. So we'll talk first about planning. And this is where this comes in. You can see that at the top here, there is a table here with Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and down the side, there's some time blocks. And they are like 2-hour time blocks, 6 to 8 a.m., 8 to 10 a.m., etc., through to 10 to 12 p.m. at night. And this worksheet, this is how I organise my life. So basically, you will find blocks of time. If you print this off, you can find blocks of time. So you look at that and you say, okay, between the hours of 6 and 8, what am I doing? if you're getting up at 7 and that's when your day starts and that's when the children are getting up or you're getting up and showering, that does mean that between 6 and 7 you have an hour time that's free currently. You may well be sleeping at this point between that hour, those times, 6 and 7. But what you need to do is take a pen, a coloured pen, and mark on this when your free slots are. So it might be between 6 and 7, that is currently a free slot. Yes, you might be sleeping, but put that to one side for a moment. And then you might say, okay, well then I leave the house and I work through till 6 p.m. But I get an hour lunch break, so that's free time. Then I come home and I'm straight in and I do this with the kids and that with the kids. But depending on the age of your children, if you have children, if you don't have children, this exercise is the same. You can then work out during the evening, are there any other time slots available that are currently free? So I would suggest going through that and highlighting. You can use different coloured pens for different things. So say, for example, laundry. When do you do your laundry? All these sort of chores that take up time in our day. When do I do my household chores? Well, I don't know, Tuesday's my day off, so I tend to do it at this time. I'll have a lie-in or whatever it is you do. Just mark on there when you do your chores, your food shopping, your cooking, all the things, all the items that take up time during your day, log in coloured pens on that sheet so that you can see where your time is going. Now, if during the week you've done laundry 4 times, then that's probably not necessary. You can probably do it twice during the week. So you say, okay, instead of just throwing it in last minute and not really knowing, not being organised, just doing it when you think it needs doing, I'm going to get organised. I'm going to do it on a Wednesday and a Saturday, and that's half an hour on those days. And that frees up some of the time that you've been doing that on the other days. Does that make sense? So, and that can be done with all the activities. Start thinking about how you can condense some of the activities on particular days to free up time somewhere else. So we're talking about making time. Is there any way on that sheet that you can shift any of those activities around to give yourself some time? It's really, really important. I think sometimes we're so busy, we don't take time to sit back and really analyse what's going on during our week. And I know there's a ton of stuff, not least school admin, which drives me crazy. I never feel like I'm on top of it. But there are so many different factors. Write a list of all the things you do during the week. See where you can place those things during your week. And this all sounds very regimented, very strict, very, organised. But if you are serious about exercising, if you're serious about your fitness, if you're serious about your health ultimately, and you're currently struggling to make that time, this is how to do it. So it really depends on how much you're prioritising, which we're going to come to in a minute. So you're going to then eventually find those pockets of time on here. Hopefully, I don't know, say you're doing free time in yellow, there'll be, each day there will be yellow slots. Then you need to figure out, well, how long do I need to work out? Well, I've already said 15 minutes a day. During this 10-day challenge, we're doing 15 minutes a day. 15 minutes is doable. It's totally doable. How long do you spend, what do you do for 15 minutes each day? You're probably looking at Facebook, which is fine if you're looking at my page. But if you're scrolling just mindlessly through Facebook and not, really engaging with anything else, I bet you've done 15 minutes. If you have ordered takeout at the weekend, I bet that took 15 minutes looking at the menu. Netflix. I bet you scroll through Netflix for more than 15 minutes. There are lots of things that we do without realising that we spend 15 minutes on. So making 15 minutes somewhere in your day is not difficult. We'll move on tomorrow as to then being motivated to actually do the workout in that 15 minutes. That's a whole different topic. Today, I just want you to find the time. I want you to make the time. I want you to see it. I'm a really visual person, so for me, this exercise has always worked. I might do it, and 6 months later I might go back to it and say, right, well, you know, I feel overwhelmed again, which is a symptom of not having enough time. So I need to readjust. Things need to move around. The kids need to drop a class. Something has to happen because I don't want to live my life like this. So I'll go back and I'll change it and then shift things around, and pockets of time will appear again. So it's not something that's set in stone. It's something you can reevaluate as you go. But just try and see if there are pockets of time just for a 15-minute workout somewhere during your day. The second thing I want you to think about is getting organised. So I've talked about that already in terms of the activities that you find yourself doing during the day. But on this sheet, I sort of want you to think about writing down 3 of the most important things that you need to do on a particular day. Because I think we're all guilty of having long to-do lists and just trying to get through the to-do list all the time. Every day, trying to get to the bottom of the to-do list, and you add 10 more things on and you only do 2, and it's like a never-ending list. If we can focus a little bit more on just achieving 3 things during the day, then we will have a sense of achievement and we won't have that feeling of overwhelm. My hairdresser a few months ago, she comes to my house to do my hair because guess what? I don't have enough time to go to the salon. But I choose to do that because for me, sitting in a salon for 3 hours, which is what it used to take, having my hair highlighted and whatever, I don't want to spend 3 hours doing that anymore. Now I've got kids, and you know, it used to be a luxury and I'd take a magazine, and I don't want to do that. I choose to spend my sort of downtime doing other things. So I have a hairdresser that comes to the house anyway, and she was saying, she came one day and she was really exhausted and she was, you know, a bit frantic, and I said, what's wrong? What, you know, why are you so tired? And oh, you know, I've got this appointment and this client, and then I got home last night and I jet washed the drive and la la. And I said, what? Why did you jet wash your drive if you're so tired? Because it's on my to-do list. It's driving me crazy every time I arrive home. It's a reminder, it's on my to-do list, and I have to look at it every day. It just needs doing. So I did it last night, exhausted. And that got me thinking, you know, we're all guilty of that. We're all guilty of trying to get through the to-do list. She was exhausted because she'd been jet washing her driveway. And I said to her, but now you're shattered. And does it really matter? Did the jet washing the driveway, does that matter? Is that more important than you getting some sleep and a decent meal? Is it more important than your health? But you know, I say all this, I am not perfect, by the way. I am guilty of this too, but I'm better at telling other people how to do this than I am myself. But you know, I said, could that not have waited until a weekend or some time where, you know, you didn't feel as under so much pressure, when you had time? And you know, it is a question of organising our time a little bit better so that we're not doing things like jet washing the driveway when, you know, we could use that time to focus on our health and fitness. And, you know, sometimes you've just got to let things go or get someone else to do it. You know, her husband could have maybe done that. So getting organised. Choose the top 3 things you need to achieve in one day and tick those off. The rest of it can wait or appear the next day in the top 3. But beyond that, forget it. It's not going to work. And organise some support for yourself. And this has been a really interesting experience this time around in the challenge, because when you join the challenge, I suggest, you know, you might like to get a buddy to help you and keep you accountable through the challenge. And this created this kind of wave inside the group of almost panic. I need a buddy. What's a buddy? Do I need a buddy? Someone be my buddy. And then a whole other group, this kind of splinter group that was like, I don't need a buddy. I don't want a buddy. I just want to do it on my own. I don't need that. And it's really interesting because actually quite a large proportion of the population do need external accountability. It's just our personality. And, you know, we are more likely to let ourselves down than we are someone else. So that external accountability, it does genuinely work for the vast majority of people. Not everybody needs it. Some of us have internal drive, internal motivation, and we will keep ourselves accountable. But that's not all of us. So, you know, acknowledge if you are that person. If you do need accountability, find the support. Get the support of your partner, your friends, whoever it might be. You know, say to them, this is how I want to change my life. This is what I want to do. Show them this and say, look, these are the pockets of time I've got, or I haven't got any pockets of time. Can you help me create this? You know, it might be that you arrange childcare, or you do a childcare swap with your friends, whatever it is. Find support to help you with this process, because, you know, your loved ones, if they see you prioritising your health, will help you. Absolutely they will. And actually children, if they're old enough, and you explain to them, you know, I'm prioritising my time now to focus on my health and fitness. It's really important to me. So guys, you just have to leave me alone for 15 minutes. I'm going to go and do this workout. Don't disturb me. It's a really good message to send to your children. You shouldn't feel guilty about that. You shouldn't feel that, you know, you're putting yourself first over your children or neglecting your children in any way. This is a life lesson. You're showing them that when they grow up, they also must prioritise their health and fitness. It's really important. And you're their role model. So, you know, telling them that you're carving this time out and they have to respect that. If you've got older children, I know toddlers are not going to respect that. Then, you know, talk to them, communicate, and get their support. And if they, you know, you say, this is what I'm doing, you know, why don't you do some fitness? They'll probably tell you where to go and turn the PlayStation on or something. But at least they're seeing that this is important. It's something, you know, that you're prioritising. So get the support if you're one of the people that needs the accountability. And the third area that's really important is prioritising. And on this sheet, I actually ask, what is the number one thing that stopped you from putting yourself first? Really, what is it? It's not time. Trust me, it really isn't. Half of what you do during the day, you probably don't need to do. Obviously, you need to go to work, but you know, if you've done that exercise there, you'll be able to see that you can start to organise your time a little bit better to free up some time. So what's the one thing that is stopping you? If your answer to that is time, then it's not an issue anymore because you'll have done this process. And then I ask, by not putting yourself first, what is that costing you? By not prioritising your health and fitness, what does that mean for you? What is it costing you? Is it, you know, does that make you feel frustrated? Have you lost confidence in yourself because you're not looking after yourself well? What is the cost to you of not actually prioritising this? It's a really good exercise to go through. And, you know, have a think about, I also put in here, which of the things do you feel take up most of your time? Things like social media, procrastinating, tidying the house, food planning and shopping, pressing snooze on your alarm in the morning, watching television, surfing the web, checking emails, drama, gossiping, complaining. You know, if you find yourself with a particular friend who's a little bit like that and you spend a lot of time listening to them complain and gossip, and then you get drawn into it, it's not good anyway. It's not healthy to be like that, but it's also a complete waste of your time. So that's something to have a think about. Where is your time going? That, you know, you don't need to be doing those things. But what story are you telling yourself about time? If you're someone that's always sort of running around and saying, we're late, I don't have time, hurry up, you know, we're going to be late. I say this because I'm often late. All those time-connected phrases that we often use, particularly if you're trying to get the children ready in the morning, you know, why is that happening? lack of time makes you feel overwhelmed. Of course it does. But why are we in a state of rush like that? What story are you telling yourself about time? And often when we're using these phrases, it's because we're trying to, we're avoiding an area of responsibility in our lives. So I don't have time to exercise is because you're trying to avoid exercising. For whatever reason that is, you don't have the energy, you're not motivated, again, which I'm going to talk all about tomorrow. But it's because you're trying to avoid it. My classic example that I always use is when my son comes to me and says, "Mummy, will you come and play?" And it can be any number of things. Lego, dinosaurs, if you've got a little boy, any of those things. "Not now, darling, I'm a little bit busy." I am doing things, but I could, like preparing the dinner, and they always pick their moments, don't they? But I could put that down and I could go and play Lego for 10 minutes. But in that moment, when I'm feeling tired, I don't want to do it. I just don't want to do it. So I'm avoiding the responsibility of being a good mother and playing with my son at that point in time. I know that's what I'm doing. And I'm sure, he's fine. And I do play with him, of course I do. But I'm just using that as an example of a time where you use time as the scapegoat. You're trying to avoid doing something by saying, "I'm too busy, I'm preoccupied." So have a think about that. The next time you use time in a phrase, think about why that's happening. That's also quite a powerful exercise to go through if you're someone that struggles with time. Hi Jacqueline, hi Gillian, hi Anna. Sorry, I've been wittering away and haven't noticed. Erin, all great advice, great food for thought, and we continue to need to reevaluate these things through time. Absolutely. Hi Kim. Erin, social media. I know, it just sucks the life out of you, social media, doesn't it? Once you get on there, again, you can schedule your social media time if you want to go that strict, but try not to spend too long on it. It's a complete waste of time. Social media and the whole gossiping with friends thing is not good. Yes, hard truths. I know. It's hard for me to actually say that out loud in public about my son, but it's true at the end of the day. And I know I'm not the only one that does that. I hope I'm not. I'm not a bad mother. It's just that, life. And sometimes I just don't want to do it. So, anyway, hard truths there, but you really need to know yourself well to work with this. One great book, actually, if time is an issue for you, is this book, Rushing Women's Syndrome. I love this book by Dr. Libby Weaver. And basically, she talks about, it's not a medical condition. It's her way of describing the state in which women now, in this generation particularly, run their lives. And in a rushed manner, obviously, from racing from one thing to the next, someone asks you how you are, "I'm just so busy," that kind of thing. And she talks about the impact on our health, particularly our physiological health, from all this rushing around. And it's eye-opening. It's quite frightening, actually. Our parents, our grandparents didn't live the lives that we are currently living. And that's not an excuse for not getting on top of it. It's a reality, but that book hits home hard if you need it. She has some great ideas, similar to what we're talking about today, to how to come out of that and mindset work and things. But it's really, really interesting. Hi, Kim. You think I'm being very honest or guilty of saying we're busy to avoid doing something, especially true for me if I'm feeling tired and overwhelmed? Yeah, good. I'm glad it's not just me, Kim. Thank you. That makes me feel better. But that book is really, really good. And it's the final question that I want you to think about, and I talk about this all the time. I have done in the challenge, I have done lots of times live, is what is your why? And by that I mean, what is the real reason that you want to work out? And that could be for vanity reasons, it could be an aesthetic reason, it could be, you know, I want my arms to look more toned, I want a flatter tummy. But then if that's the answer to that question, ask why. Why do you want that? Dig deep. And often it's not just about aesthetics. In fact, 9 times out of 10, it's not about aesthetics at all. It can be to do with confidence, self-esteem, feeling comfortable in your clothes, just generally feeling comfortable. For me, it's my kids. It always has been. I talked about this recently inside my membership and got very emotional. I am not going to do that today. But, you know, if you have ever suffered with a health condition, you've had a health scare, you will find the answer to this question a lot quicker, because ultimately it's about our health. Ultimately, I want to be fit for my kids. I want to race my kids. I did it the weekend. We ran. If I wasn't fit, I wouldn't be able to do that, or I'd hurt myself. I don't want my kids seeing me unable to do things. There's no reason why I shouldn't be able to do things. And of course, if you have a medical condition, that is a different ballgame altogether. But nevertheless, I want my children to see me looking after myself, because I want them to do that in their lives. And I can, you know what it's like. You can tell kids things till you're blue in the face. They're never going to listen. What they will do though, is watch your actions and replicate them, for sure. So drill down as to what your why is. And I'm pretty sure you're going to get there, and the answer is going to be my health. And, you know, longevity, being around to see my grandkids, still being able to get down on the floor and play with my grandchildren. A lot of people struggle to get down and back up again off the floor because of lack of fitness, or their muscles have got very tight, their joints have got very stiff. So have a think about that. Once you've got hold of your why, this becomes so much easier. It does mean that, you know, you have a lot more awareness about your motives for doing this, and your commitment to it. You are going to have a real mind shift around this whole area of fitness and healthy living, if you can locate exactly what your why is. If it's something like, I need to lose X amount of weight to fit into this dress for a wedding, you're not going to have the same drive, the same awareness, the same commitment to keep up that fitness level as you would if you were focused on something deeper, if that makes sense. So now that you're clear, I hope, and if you're not, please drop some questions into the chat box if you've got any questions. If you're watching this on the replay again, please ask me any questions you've got. But hopefully you're a little bit clearer on how to make time. If you've not got that worksheet, it is in the file tab inside the Ballet Fitness Lifestyle Hub. And the big question, because all I want you to do today is sort out your time. I don't want you to think, if you've put, I've got free time between 6 and 7, but that's never going to happen. Forget that for now. Just make sure that you have found all your free slots. Tomorrow, we're going to deal with the big question of motivation, how to get motivated. Yes, I've found the time. I don't have that as an excuse anymore. Now, how do I actually do it? Rather than sit there looking at this sheet going, yeah, I've got the time, but I just can't be bothered. So we're going to look at motivation tomorrow. So that'll be Wednesday at 9 p.m. BST UK time. I'm going to be back here talking about motivation. And that's really important to keep us consistent. And consistency means we're going to get the results. If you get the results, you're motivated, etc. So you can see the cycle here. So join me tomorrow for our next workshop talking about motivation. If you've found this video helpful, please share it with your friends. Share it on your Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram, wherever. and encourage your friends to come along and join us and get involved and start really trying to help them make time to fit their fitness in. So I will see you tomorrow. Day 3 tomorrow. Good luck with your workouts. If you've joined the challenge, if you haven't done yet, you can do. I'll drop the link below. And I'll see you tomorrow at 9 o'clock to talk about motivation. Okay, great. I'll see you then. Thanks everyone. Bye.